Hello, my dear students of class 12. I welcome you all to the video lesson of Should Wizard Hit Mommy? In the last class, some of you have requested for a video on summary of the lesson along with important questions and answers. So, in this video, we have the gist of the lesson along with significant questions and answers. So watch it very carefully. Should Wizard Hit Mommy by John Updike. Gist of the lesson. The chapter captures a very sensitive reaction of a small girl to an important aspect of the story that her father narrates to her. The story reveals the worldview of a little child to a difficult moral question that shows her mental or psychological richness. Jo is a little girl of 4 years. She is engaged in a story session with her father. Jack, the father, used to tell her a story every evening and especially for Saturday naps. Jo feels herself involved with the characters and the happenings. The story always had an animal with a problem. The old owl advises him to visit the wizard, who would solve the problem. Skunk's problem. He smelt bad, visited the wizard, who changed it to the smell of roses. Skunk's mother was unhappy with it and took him back to the wizard. She hid the wizard and asked him to restore the original smell. She wanted her son to keep his identity of a skunk and wanted his friends to accept him for himself. So the wizard changes him back to smell like a skunk. After hearing the story of Roger Skunk, Jo was not happy with the ending. She wants her father to change the ending. She wants the wizard to hit the mother back and let Roger be, which her father was not ready to do to establish his authority. This raises a difficult moral question whether parents possess the right to impose their will on their children. Her father finds it difficult to answer her question. Now, certain questions, short answer type questions. How did the wizard help Roger Skunk? Answer. The wizard, the wizard was moved by Roger Skunk's story. On finding his magic wand, chanted some magic words and granted that Roger should smell like roses. Question number 2. How did Roger Skunk's mommy react when he went home smelling of roses? Answer. Roger Skunk began to smell like roses. Mommy asked about the smell. Roger Skunk replied that the wizard had made him smell like that. Mother did not like that and asked Roger to come with her. Question number 3. How did the skunk's mother get him his old smell back? Answer. Mother was furious to learn about the wizard who changed the original smell. She immediately visited the wizard and hit him on his head and asked him to restore the original smell. Question number 4. Who is Jo? How has he changed in the past 2 years? How did Jo behave in reality phase? Answer. Jo is Jack's 4-year-old daughter. She was no more a patient listener. She did not take things for granted and tried to see things in her own way. Question number 5. How does Jo want the story to end and why? Answer. Joe understood Roger Skunk's need to enjoy the company of his friends, therefore wanted that the wizard should take Roger's side. Some long answer type questions. Question number 1. Why an adult's perspective of life is different from that of a child as given in the story? Here are some value points, suggested value points. With the help of this suggested value points, you can prepare your own answer. An adult's perspective on life is always different. Maturity of a person becomes his barometer to judge right and wrong. For him or her, everything that occurs has a message. In the story, Jack at no level accepts Joe's worldview that wizards should hit mommy. On the other hand, a child's perspective is limited to his activities. Child's perspective completely different. They love action more than thought. So does Joe in the story. She would delight in hearing the story of Roger Skunk's mommy being hit by the wizard. So, after this, let's have some homework questions. These questions you need to do yourself in your notebooks and send the answers to me. Question number 5 is from this chapter. Do you think that the father in the story is more or less an alter ego of the author as far as the child is concerned? You have to answer it. Question number 6. How do you interpret the expression "this was a new phase just this last month, a reality phase"? Question number 7. Why, in your opinion, is the smell of roses obnoxious for the mother skunk? Next, that was a long story. What does Claire want to convey through this assertion? Some other long questions. What is Jack's way of telling stories? Why is it appealing? Question number 2. What does Jack want to convey through the story of Roger Skunk? Question number 3. How is Jack's childhood interwoven in the story of the stinky skunk? Question number 4. How does Jack assert his authority as a father over his daughter? And the last question. What part of the story did Jack himself enjoy the most? Why? These are really very important questions, and these are from the previous year question papers. So do them very carefully and send the answers to me. This is the end of today's video lesson. I hope all of you have enjoyed it. Thank you